Well, what do we have here? Die Hard for the Commodore 64, a game based on one of the best Christmas movies of all time. A Christmas movie based in a massive tower block with glass and guns and bullets and blood. It almost doesn't seem like a Christmas movie at all. But let's take a look and see what the game is like, shall we? Yeah.
Yes, it's been 31 years since this frightful night unfolded on Christmas Eve 1988. But thanks to heroes like Sergeant Al Powell and Officer John McClane, justice and peace was restored just in time for Christmas Day. Incidentally, this was the same year the Sega Mega Drive was launched. Nice! Now, whether you think of Die Hard as a Christmas movie or just a movie set around Christmas, we can at least agree on the fact that as a movie, Die Hard features Christmas trees, a Christmas party, Christmas hats, and messages, ice, glass, a jolly bastard in a shaft, a sack, or at least a van that can conjure ambulances out of thin air, and dirty great explosions, just the way that Santa intended. So all in all, it's a film with many festive elements.
Merry Christmas!
What remains to be seen is whether Die Hard for the Commodore 64, developed and published by Activision in 1990, has the same festive cheer. Given it was released in the summer of that year, I'm guessing they probably chucked the baby out with the bathwater on this one. Look at that box art. There's nothing festive here. It doesn't even feature Bruce Willis. This box art is based on the original Die Hard poster, the one where they actually stripped Bruce Willis out because they were concerned no one would know who he was, or in fact even want to see a film featuring a small screen actor. Oh, how wrong they were. You can see that this is very clearly the Commodore 64 version, not to be confused with the IBM PC compatible release, which although conceptually similar, is executed in a more fancy three-dimensional implementation. And although for 1990 it's somewhat impressive, it's also a pain to navigate, probably why it didn't get the praise it arguably deserved. The rear of the box shows us screenshots from both platforms, although the features proudly sell the 3D environment of the Nakatomi building regardless of the platform. Internally we get a 5¼ inch floppy and a manual, again giving instructions for both Commodore and PC formats. Look, we even get a photo of the separate development teams. Lovely stuff. There's also some copy protection across various pages, masquerading as a security panel code, but we'll get to that as we play. Now, I actually picked this game up on Christmas Eve. I bought it on eBay, but astonishingly, it turned out I knew the seller and he was local, so I grabbed it and here we are. Yet, here we are with a floppy disk that doesn't work. I'm hardly surprised, the data on floppies is falling to the data graveyard every day, and this one isn't exactly in tip-top condition. Luckily I have a digital tape deck, so we can just download the cassette ROM. That is, if this game came out on cassette, which it didn't. But, even luckier, I can borrow Stuart Ashen's fast loader and SD2 IEC and download the disc ROM. Now this is probably a good thing because the load times of this game are notoriously bad, even on disc. It's obvious why they didn't produce a cassette version, we'd be here all day. Thankfully the fast loader brings us the title screen in no time at all, and we get a splendid little intro giving us a very cut down introduction to the film. It's definitely not the best music I've heard from the SID chip. It's really quite awful. Before blasting onto a title screen featuring John McClane, I think. Looks more like Gary Glitter to me. Anyway, armed with a conic Speed King, let's get cracking. Now, unlike the pseudo 3D PC release, the C64 version is a side-scroller, and in many ways this works a lot better. We begin in a room on the 32nd floor of Nakatomi Plaza, and our job is to navigate through the rooms, kill all the terrorists, and get to the roof. Now, if you happen to have a cheat code that gives you infinite ammo and life, this is a pretty easy task. If you don't, it's a little different. Anyway, you begin with a gun. It only has 8 bullets, but you can kick, punch and block by pressing the trigger at the same time as a joystick direction. But it's pretty difficult to emerge from this without losing at least a quarter of your health. And there's no shortage of these terrorists. It seems like there's more than the film. Some you have to take out in order to obtain items such as a key, walkie-talkie, or even perhaps cigarettes, whilst others will get in your way, so you can either deal with them or try and run. In this sense, it conveys the feel of the movie pretty well. You're a badass cop, but you're not indestructible, like perhaps if Arnie or Stallone were playing the role. As you roam the corridors and rooms, you can check your location on the occasional wall maps, and trust me, you'll need to, because it's easy to lose your bearings in this place. Every time you go up a corridor, the camera rotates 90 degrees, at least in an overall perspective sense. It does this when you go in rooms as well, which can be a little off-putting to begin with, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Now, there are a couple of ways to get through this game. First, as I said, you can cheat like me and take out this guy, get the key, go to the security room, disarm the computer using the corresponding code in the manual, exit the security door at the top, then fire hose down to what is supposed to be the trashed hall, but is currently still the fine hall, shoot this guy with an Uzi repeatedly, keep going, keep shooting him, and some more. Yep, then he's dead. Then this guy, then blow Hans Gruber out of the window, whereupon you get this sweet digitised animation and comedy falling sound. Or you can do it how they tell you to do it in the manual, which is slightly longer and more faithful to the film. Incidentally, you can access your inventory using the left and right arrows on the keyboard and choose what you need to choose. It's quite a useful and easy to navigate system. Okay, so the full version. Here you need to collect the walkie-talkie, cord, can of beans for sustenance, extra bullets, lighter, and cigarettes from floor 32. Then go up to the roof as normal, but rather than jumping down on the fire hose, instead take a stroll around the corner. Take out some more terrorists, grab an Uzi, then go through this massive rotating fan, run from some more terrorists, although they're not actually terrorists, are they? I'm just going to call them criminals from now on. Anyway, grab the nitroglycerine, get down to level 33, get the detonator, watch some more scenes of the film, patch yourself up with a medikit perhaps. Incidentally, whilst this is going on, there's a constant countdown in operation and the story evolves bit by bit, so you've got to be quick. Anyway, we need to drop the bomb down the elevator with the cord and the nitroglycerine and so forth, blow up some of the building, walk through some glass. You know, there's a lot of detail here. You can see they enjoyed the film. It's also nice how criminals without guns just walk away from you rapidly if you happen to point an Uzi at them. Then we go back through the vents, a helicopter arrives, then Carl appears, who takes your weapons and knocks you about pretty bad. Take him out and you can get your Uzis back, go back to the roof, see the helicopter again, but this time flying from side to side like a space invader. Then, and only then, can we jump down using the fire hose. It's clear that this was just a deadly distraction for first-time players who might just immediately leap down without a cheat and get Uzi'd to death. But now, with the roof bomb timer ticking, there's no hard-ass Uzi guy to face, just fireballs falling from the roof, which is much better. And finally we meet Hans with Mrs. McClane. Shoot him and we get the same end scene. I mean, bloody hell, I personally prefer the way I did it, but it's nice to have options and a slightly longer quest. But that's it, that's the end of Die Hard. Not even a single Christmas tree in sight. I imagine if there were, then Zap magazine issue 63 would have scored it higher than 70%. I certainly would have myself. But it's a decent game nevertheless. Okay, it might not be up to the standards of Die Hard Arcade on the PlayStation, but bloody hell, it wouldn't be. This is a Commodore 64. There was also an NES version which was published the same year by Activision, but that is a very different beast, and even harder. A bit too hard. They both work better with the cheats on, let's put it that way. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So, I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas period, holiday, whatever you celebrate, and I hope to see you again after Christmas. Of course, don't feel obliged, but it would be nice anyway. In the meantime, thanks for watching and have a great evening.